I remember sitting in the waiting room at the Center for Children with Disabilities and Special Needs, wondering how life had brought us to this moment, and hoping that the doctor would assess Rowan and tell us everything was going to be okay.
I'm Carla, and this is Brian. We have 3 daughters. Gemma is 6, Rowan is 4, and Ember is 18 months old. Rowan was born in June of 2016. She's our second daughter. She was the happiest baby, just so content, so quiet, so happy to just sit and watch her older sister play. Early on, we noticed that she was behind on several of her milestones. We just figured that she was developing at her own pace and that she would just figure things out as she went. At 18 months old, she was making progress, but still delayed on milestones. And at this point, after several appointments with her pediatrician, we started some speech therapy with her.
Over the next 2 years, Rowan showed improvement in some areas, but not much improvement in her speech. I remember she could say the word daddy quite clearly, but that was really her only word. We continued to be concerned about her speech development, and finally we were able to get in to see a pediatrician who specializes in child development.
Rowan was found to have global developmental delay, which means delays in multiple areas, cognitive delays, motor skill delays, with the speech delay being her most significant delay. At 3.5 years old, they figured she was about a year behind where she should be at that point.
I remember Carla dropping me off at work after the appointment and just being unable to concentrate on anything, tearing up while thinking about our beautiful, smiley girl and just the challenges she would face to live a normal life. After the assessment, we were set up with speech therapy, physiotherapy, and occupational therapy. And after seeing many speech therapists, Rowan was finally diagnosed with having apraxia of speech, which is a disorder that affects the brain pathways involved in planning and executing speech. Essentially, her brain knows what it wants to say, but she has difficulty producing the sounds to make words to produce speech.
All of this was very hard for us to take in. You have so many hopes and dreams for your kids as parents. You don't want to know that they're gonna have big struggles in their life and that things are gonna be difficult for them. Especially things that are easy for so many people were going to be so hard for Rowan. Just learning how to speak, how to communicate, just trouble learning and building relationships. It's just so much to think about, and so overwhelming to know that these struggles are going to affect every area of her life. There was a time when we were out biking this summer, and Rowan had been working so hard to learn how to ride this balance bike. It had been about a year, and she was finally figuring out this bike, and she was riding behind Gemma, trying to keep up to her, and she just had this look of determination. Her feet were just kicking so hard. She was trying so hard to keep up to Gemma. And in this moment, I just felt that God was telling us that she was going to be okay. And that despite all the obstacles that she was going to go through, that God was going to be with her every step of the way, guiding her. And in this moment, I just felt that God was going to take care of us.
Rowan is 4 years old now and making slow progress in many areas. So many things are still so uncertain for us about her future. We know that her life will be different than most kids, and she will have many obstacles to face. Learning to speak will be a huge challenge for her, and her other delays will further complicate her learning.
However, we know that God has a plan for Rowan's life, and we know that He is carefully crafting this story for her. This is not the story that we would have chosen or imagined for Rowan, but this is the story that God chose for her. We are so thankful to have a God that we can trust Rowan's life with, a God who loves Rowan more than we do, and a God who's writing a beautiful story for her life that we get to be a part of. And because of this, we will continue to trust him. When the obstacles come, when the hard times come, we know that God will be with her every step of the way.